Yeah, I'll do anything you want me to. Yeah, I want anything you want me to. Yeah, I can't go for that. No, no can do. I can't go for that. No can do.
So I just want to start it out with that song because it's like, you can have my body, but you can't have my soul. Like, you don't get my soul. You have to have your own soul. You have to have your own identity, your own, which is part of all of it. As I said before in many of my things and many of my workshops and things that I do, online things, it's just the bottom line is it's an inside job, and you can have a lot of people that help, or beings, or however you do it, from higher, like just of the light, like there's things and beings that can help, but ultimately you are the one that is saving your own soul, and there is really no one else to retrieve that. There's help along the way. Hang on, help is on its way. I'll be there as fast as I can. My mom used to say, Melissa, if you would memorize your schoolwork like you do the songs on the radio, you'd be a fucking genius. And so I started to sing things. In fact, I just got a new number because I'm going to be moving soon, which I'm excited about. But I got a new number, and I'm like singing it, like, remember that song, 86753. I'm like remembering my number by singing it. So, you know, everybody's got their gift, and I'm a musical kind of angel here, and I do a lot of different kind of things, which is why I guess I'm able to speak in the way that I am to a lot of reasons why this stuff needs to just come out, man. It's just crazy, because we have to be aware of what we're doing here on this planet again and again and again, and we have to remind ourselves, no matter what it takes for us to do that. If we have to watch a million different channels until we find what we resonate with, or however this happens, we need to be able to support. One thing I got in my meditation recently, when I don't know if I brought this up before, but I seen like the symbol, I get things as symbols that come through like my midbrain, and then all of a sudden they just come in like words. Anyhow, I seen that this symbol of a feather in the wind, like just a feather floating, and we had to be doing that at a certain time on the planet with our souls where we had to be for the shifts and a lot of things we don't even realize, which is coming up, another big one, which is 13th, which my very good friend Brennan made me aware of recently. Because I don't sometimes look at astrology as much anymore, although I used to homeschool with the kids because I wasn't very good at math, and so I would use the trines and the 360-degree circle to help them, and plus then they have it kind of went into a whole sacred geometry when you get the fixed, the cardinals, the earth, the air, the whole thing, it just all makes this beautiful sacred geometry, and in a circle of just aspects of things. And so it's math, and it's also psychology in a way, in a very beautiful way, because everything has its high and low octave. So everybody's like, oh, is that bad to be this sign? I'm like, well, really, you're every sign. But definitely we came for certain reasons, and to be able to look at those aspects and see what it is. Are we manifesting them in our higher soul, or are we kind of using them in a lower octave? And, I'm not really sure if we want to call any of it good or bad, because I think that even is just a judgment of something, but it's a resonance. Do you want to be high or low? That's the way I like to look at it. Do I want to be high or do I want to be low? And we all go through it. So, sometimes I feel like the question is, do I feel like narcissists can ever, or people with these cluster B things going on with themselves, can they ever get past it? Well, they would have to self-reflect, and that's the biggest deal right there, is self-reflection. And a lot of people can say they're doing it. They can do lip service to it, but the real proof is in the pudding, right? And I feel that, as a lot of people say, you can find a lot of coverts in religions and things where, or even like I've seen a lot of them. I used to live in a spiritual little place, and they were crawling. I'm a shaman. I used to call them showmen. There's all kinds of them. And so people, whenever there's an original of something, there's always going to be someone who duplicates it. It's just like it's a narcissistic thing. Just like the last one with David, where I was talking about the scammers. They're going to be on some level all the time, everywhere. So it's not like they're ever going anywhere. It's just our awareness. That's the key to transformation of being able to know when this is, it's like I can love you. And I don't know if I said this before, but if I did, I don't care. I'm going to say it again. My daddy told me one time, I was crying about this boyfriend that I had for a very long time. It was a long relationship. Daddy, I love him. He's like, I know you love him, honey, but do you like him? And I think that's one of the biggest things that I ever will retain in my life for that moment was just, do I like him? And now I realize it for everything. Yeah, loving just as part of the universe of what I am in everything. And my midbrain comes through. It's my whole deal, in spirit. But it's also liking has to be earned, and you you have to earn that. And a lot of people just if you really watch, and I think that's one of the biggest things is to being patient. And I am patient because I feel patience comes from the higher soul, but I feel that tolerance is the 3D level of where I'm not very good. So a lot of times they will provoke you to the point, especially if you're like a fiery goddess like me, you'll be like looking the one crazy at the end of the whole deal. So also, I want to go into something I wanted to read about in the medicine cards that came in real strong for me the other day, and it was a couple weeks back, but I didn't have time. I was kind of busy, so I'm doing these whenever I feel the energy pulls me. But it's very important that I feel like I need to read it. Although I wanted to say something really important as well, because I always like to add a little healing. I know I haven't done any juicy joints and stuff in a while, so I promise I'm going to get back to that stuff. I've been feeling real strong with this meditation of just really bringing this stuff through, whatever it's coming through. So I just want to remind everyone that my juicy joints are on there, and to keep yourself juicy, moving through experiences once again and raise it on up. So we want to do that. But I also wanted to just say that the other day I was doing a little work in my yard, in my garden and stuff, and things were wet, and I'm just all going on through and not paying attention once again. Like the last time I did that, like a year and a half before on my ladder, was my own fault for not being focused enough to keep that ladder in the right place. But anyway, we all do our thing here. And so I fell on my knee, and it was my left knee. So it seems to always be my left side. But I fell, and then I didn't think it was a big deal at the time, because I was like, I'll just, it was getting later, because you don't want to do any garden work here right now. It's like 111 degrees at least in the daytime. And it's very hot. I have a pool, but it still gets so hot. It's crazy out there. So I wait till things get a little dark, later. But so I just came in and I put an ice pack on my knee. And when I laid down, I was tired, and I'm kind of in the middle of shifting things around in my house, and just zenning things out a little more. And so things are a little bit kind of in boxes, and things are just a little different than they were. So I didn't know exactly where I had put my remedies, if they were in my healing room or what, and no one was here. So I just put the ice on it, and then I did have CBD beside my bed because I had it for something. I can't remember. I think my friend was over something, and I had it, and I had put it in my one of my massage creams that I used for my body work, and it was right there. So I just picked it up, and literally, because I am a physician in classical homeopathy, I always just go to that, which it always helps. But it was just interesting because I have never uh, just this was just a different position that I was never in to be able to really just see solely the CBD and what it did. But I woke up the next morning thinking that the ice pack was going to work, and what happened was um, I couldn't move. I could barely walk. I had to cancel a couple of sessions, and I'm a badass, you know. I was like, what? And I still couldn't get up. So I couldn't even get to my remedies then at that point. It was like, I don't even know where to begin. And I don't think anyone was here. Um, and so I just seen the CBD and I put it on. And I mean, I am not kidding you with everything inside of me. I'm telling you, it was crazy. I was walking within, I mean, it was crazy. It's how quick it healed my knee. So what I want to, in any rate, I want to just really emphasize that as I do things about, well, as we talk about these psychological bullshit things that are going on and being aware of, we also want to still be aware of our own bodies and our own beautiful selves and blessed beings. So just CBD, man, wow, it was a miracle for me. And now I'm using it on my cat too. So he had a little bit of an incident with the Black Widow. I don't know if I mentioned that on one of them, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But I definitely know that he's better with it. He's jumping a little bit more and just really healing. So with that being said, I want to just say that one of the medicine cards that's been coming in about narcissistic energy, and you know, again, I want to say I want to come back to the spectrums because there is different degrees of personalities that are healthy to be a narcissist, and I mean, we all have those tendencies. Sometimes it's okay to be like, you know what, I want to be an actress today, or I want to be, but there's a difference, and the main difference is self-reflection, and the other difference is just the fact that it's kind of like a parrot. They repeat things, like everything that you like or do. And that's very disturbing sometimes when you start looking at first it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, you don't really, sometimes people don't think of this because we don't think that way. But they're really, it's really true. There's a lot of weird shit going on out there. So, and people don't have good intentions, and we don't realize it until it happens, and it's just wild. So anyway, one of the animal medicines that I attribute to this is the possum. So I had a possum in Belize that lived in my roof, in my ceiling, for I don't know, a couple of years, man. That guy was up there. And everyone tried to get him. People would come, my caretaker, like trying to get him with BB guns, smoking him out, all these things, and he just wasn't going nowhere. And then he finally, I knew, it's weird because my daughter, my beautiful daughter, said, "Mom, maybe we should just try to love him instead of, because it was just annoying. He would scratch and things, and it was like, God, just get him out." But it's like, yeah, right. Just stop and just love him to death. Love him to death. And that's what happened. We loved him and he died. I know that sounds funny, but it can be true. So sometimes death is the best thing for these beings, They need to be told what to do, like as far as getting their souls back. They can't do it until they leave their physical body. A lot of the times, I mean, they're just too dark. They're taken over by another force. So anyway, I want to read it to you because it's really cool. And okay, so the possum has to say to us diversion, first of all. Diversion. Roll over. Are you really dead? Or just playing possum? Was it something I said? A possum's greatest form of protection is to play dead. In doing this, a possum confuses many a predator into believing that the game is over. Oftentimes, the confused rival walks away or looks the other direction for a moment, and possum runs to safety. A possum medicine uses a great deal of strategy. Yeah, it's like a chess game. They use strategy. They're always strategizing. They're in their heads, remember. If all else fails, a possum plays dead. It has the ability to fight with us, claws and teeth, but it rarely uses this form of protection. Instead, the supreme strategy of diversion is constantly employed when things get a little too hard to handle. The supreme strategy of diversion. Yep, and that's what happens, guys. Goddess beings, God beings, beautiful Shiva, Shakti beings. A possum has developed an act that would receive an Academy Award in the animal kingdom. That's great. That's funny. I like that. That's true. An award in the animal kingdom. The musk of the death scent is exerted at will, adding to the master play that sends enemies on many trails of confusion. And isn't that the truth, y'all? You know? If possum has turned up in your cards, you are being asked to use strategy in some present situation. Rely upon your instincts for the best way out of a tight corner. If you have to pretend to be apathetic or unafraid, do it. Oftentimes, if you refuse to struggle or show that hurtful words bother you, your taunter will see no further fun in the game. Warriors have used opossum medicine for centuries, playing dead when the enemy nears and outnumbers them. Then in a flash, when the enemy is least expecting it, the war cry is heard. The fright of this serves to further confuse the unexpected opposition. Victory is sweet when the strategy is one of mental as well as the physical prowess. A possum may be relaying to you that they are to expect the unexpected and be clever in achieving your victory. This could be a victory over a bothersome salesman or a nosy neighbor. In essence, a possum is beckoning you to use your brain. That's a cool way to put it, too. Your sense of drama and surprise to leap over some barrier to your progress. Wow. That's pretty cool because if you look at it that way, I like that because it says to me like, well, yeah, they're strategizing, but maybe that's sometimes what we need. I mean, if it is a polarity planet, so if we attract this into our lives, we're asking for some kind of a polarity to look at in ourselves on some level. So, I mean, or something, some lesson. So that's a good way to put it. I like to always bring it to the light because it's like, yeah, we are in a spiritual war in a sense, but we're in a war with ourselves. As soon as we stop being in a war with ourselves and we're complete in what we know, and there's nothing that can shake our foundation and our wings, then there is no more war inside of us. So we will never be at war. So there is always that too. We have to remember to always look at ourselves. And I just want to say that the possum, it brought a lot of, I really looked at what that meant when it was there, as I do with all the things that come into my being in nature and all sorts of ways. Although it's a lot easier in nature than it is with sometimes these people that really hurt you. And, but we still nonetheless have to do it. And I feel that I want to say, we need to remember that everyone's got a role here, and how we choose to identify it, react to it, bring it into us. Show me your friends and I tell you who you are. So at some point, if we keep raising up like the shift that's going on, the shift that's coming up here, and we're going through them constantly, and that's why this is really getting to a point where you can really see it. What do you choose? Because do you really want to be stuck in wherever you are? And maybe you do, and maybe that's okay. But if you don't, make changes, even if it's just on a spiritual level, on some, just anything, just make that change. Make that change. Because you got to look in the man in the mirror. Look at that man in the mirror. It's going to feel real good to make that change. And if you don't want to, then just get comfortable wherever you're at in your level of existence. And then know that you'll have forever to change it. Just don't get lost, and keep your heart open always. Keep your joints juicy. Use some CBD. I'm so excited about that. Remember, you can go to my website. It's the thevisionexchange.com, and you can see there how you can kind of get some ideas on things that I do. I also do personal readings and things, counseling. So you're welcome to reach out to me through my website or my email, which is thevisionexchange@gmail.com. And also just like and subscribe to this channel so that we can get some information out there and spread it around. Anybody you think might be interested or be benefit from any of the things on my channel, the juicy joints, the posture, the awareness on these this energy that's going around, and how we have to make a choice in ourselves. It's all about ourselves. It's an inside job. Remember, we call off the search. If there's nothing that can do that for us but us. I mean, there are always helpers and guides along the way, but ultimately it's us that has to decide, this is what I want. It's not my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my boss. You know, no one else is going to do that for you but you. It's an inside job. So make sure you keep yourself doing that, and remembering, again, I'm never going to stop saying it, your posture. Try to always just don't try violet flame. Do it. Just do it. Remember, you have to keep your spine straight. I have videos on my channel on the posture and on the juicy joints. So please keep yourself juicy. Turn your record, get your music on. Music, God, it's so amazing. Music is so amazing. So I don't even know what I would do. I don't even want to think about it, and it's never going to happen. So there's a whole nother thing on that too I want to talk about at some other time. But right now I want to just keep it high, raise it up, and love yourselves, and just listen to the possum energy. Also, I'm going to go ahead and do just real quick a little, I was going to try to let this go, but I'm going to do the contrary. So possum in the reverse position may be warning you against getting caught in the high drama of your life's present scenario. Close your eyes and dramatize may keep you from seeing the truth of a situation. You may buy into a melodrama in yourself or others. You might as well play dead if you're going to justify what you are doing with a tragic victim routine. That's interesting too. That's a good thing to note, because it does feel very victim-like sometimes in this world. And this concept does not apply to your situation. Take a look at the possibility that you may have recently been giving excuses for why you don't want to do something instead of telling the truth. That's another good thing to think of. In fearing to hurt someone's feelings, you may have trapped yourself in a justification pattern. That's a big one. That is a big one. I'm too sick. I'm too poor. I'm watching my weight. I'm too short, tall, sad, busy, tired, whatever. In having to defend yourself with excuses, you may have lost the point. That's a big one. You don't have to defend your right to be. That's, I think, the hugest thing to say about that. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to fight for what you already have. You know? So that's a really good thing. I'm talking to myself, too. The exercise is in learning to politely say that something would not be appropriate for you at this time. That's all. You owe no one an excuse. Learn to imitate the possum and play dead in the scene that the best strategy is no defense. In assuming the viewpoint of no defense, you have chosen the right to be who and what you are with no games involved. Wow. Woo, 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 woo. And that's all you need to know now. And that's all you need to know now. Okay, the proper use of diversion is to know when you do not need to use diversion at all. That's all you need to know now. And you owe no one an excuse for how you feel or what you choose to experience. Oh my goddess. I don't even know. Like, that was amazing. I'm so glad I read the end of that because that was huge. That's a big deal, and I think of that a lot. I know going through customs, I've had to tell lies, but, sometimes I guess things you have to do things like that because otherwise wouldn't have the money to bring my stuff through when I was moving there. There was certain things, and then but I'm talking even down to the little things like calling into your daughter's school, or when I call in and say, we really just wanted to have a mental day together to not be involved in all the crazy public of anything. And so it was easier just to, instead of saying we're having a psychic day or an energy day, to say we were sick, and so these are the things that we're going to start to change in the new paradigm, like maybe really just being really clear. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, and it is true. We don't want to hurt people. Like, if we are with someone, let's say we're in a relationship and we want to go somewhere else, we're not feeling the same way anymore. Sometimes it's really hard to look at this person that you really care about and say, I don't want to be here anymore, because you're not even sure if that's what you, it's just very confusing. So I think it's the best thing in the world before you get it, like, to really, 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 I think I mentioned this before, but there's a book called Sexual Agreements if you get into a relationship. You can even do this one with yourself. You can do all this with yourself. But it's called Sexual Agreements. It's a small book, but it's really powerful, and it's the author's Amara, Amara. So, not like my daughter, who I didn't even know the author. Her name is spelled Amaera, so it's like fairy kind of spelling. But anyway, yeah, it's a really good little book, and it really helps to kind of clarify, I don't really want to be in a relationship where I have to feel like this. And if you can't make a clear agreement with your partner, no matter who it is, if they don't have that ability, they cannot self-reflect, and that's where the red flags need to come up. Because you either need to give them time to be who they are and move away from it and pray for them, or however you do your higher self stuff with them, to their higher soul from yours, then you need to move away and do it that way, or otherwise it's only going to become a drama. And we don't want to have to defend ourselves of how we feel. And I think that's something we really all need to support one another on. Where two or more, the feather in the wind, where two or more feathers now come together, two or more are gathered, that's when the magic begins. And now we can start to create things. And it only takes two. Of course, the more the merrier, although it's really, really, really true. We really need to start to really connect to our tribes, start to get what needs to fall away of our creations, if that's what we want to do and be. And for this full moon, I think it's really good. The energy lasts for 3 days before or after. It's a nice energy, and it's in Pisces, and you can really just do a nice vision board, maybe let go of what you want to just let go of, and then what you want to bring in. Burn what you want to let go of, bring in, let's start letting stuff fall away. Let's zen some stuff. Let's get some stuff out of the way, clear some shit in every way. Physically, if that means like actually getting colonics, doing some enemas, get your shit out, do a cleanse, or just maybe your physical, or all of the above. Just get it all, old stuff, and get rid of it, man. We need to start to clear the way for a new day and raise it on it. Blessings, you beautiful beings of the beautiful spinning little ball here that we're spinning around on. And above, and all the light beings of everywhere, and even the ones that are stuck, sending light and love to everything. So, blessings till next time, and it will be soon. All right. Namaste.